Okay, so first kind of recognize some things. I'm going to recognize that this is a minimum. I'm going to look for any max. Oh, here's a max. I'm just trying to see a pattern. Min, right about here, max. So somewhere in there could be a higher max and a lower min, but for now that's like what we can see. So between these two, there has to be a 0 between each of these. Between this max and this min, there has to be a 0. So I'm going to just start with these questions. Estimate the period of the function and frequency. So the period is always going to equal the 2 pi over b. So we need to find that b term. And I'm going to look. But I also, before I find that b term, I'm just going to find the period, like from where to where do I start and end in the same spot. So it looks like if I have a min at 2, and I go and then I'm already at another min at 12, it looks like between 12 and 2, there's a distance of 10 for the period. Okay, and when we're looking for the b term, we'll use that. But for now, the period is 10. And we'll use the b term to find in a second. And then frequency. The frequency is always the reciprocal of the period. So frequency is 1/10. Okay, so again, look for either both mins or both maxes. And because these are random, like are the actual data and not the equation, you might not have the exact. So the difference here is actually 10, and the difference here is also 10. So in this case, it wouldn't have mattered. If you were close on both of those, it would be okay. So estimate the vertical shift, the midline. So for this one, it's kind of different because we need to find where the 0 is. So I'm going to look. It's way at the bottom. It's going up, 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 and then going down. So my 0 is probably somewhere halfway between the min and the max, as far as data is concerned. So this one, again, halfway between the min and the max is probably the 0. So I'm just going to put a 0 there. A 0 here. There's another 0. And I don't know for sure, but there might be another 0 right here. Okay, so I want to guesstimate what the 0 value is as far as like the y is concerned. So it's somewhere between 18 and 21, or 29 and 12, or 17 and 22, or 26 and something, I don't know. So I'm guessing it's around 20-ish. So I'm going to say my 0, or my y line, is about 20. And again, this is just an estimate. Okay, now we're going to estimate the amplitude. So if, I'm going to just sketch this out. If this is y equals 20, and I went up, oops, 20, I went up to a max of 52, and I went up, or down to a minimum of negative 10. Let's figure that out. So what's the distance between those two? That would be a distance of 62. Cut that in half. I'm guessing it's about 31 or 30-ish. So the amplitude would just be straight up, straight down from that y equals 20. So I'm guessing amplitude equals roughly 30, 31. Okay, use the above information, create function model. So I'm going to, so far we actually have all of them. A equals, we've got about 30. Our B term we haven't quite figured out, but we started. Our C term we need to get, and I have a feeling I'm going to help you find that through the zeros. And then the D term is 20. That's our horizontal, or vertical shift. So C is how much it moved left or right, and it's at those 0 mark. So it probably went between here and here, about 4.5. Seems like a reasonable like shift. It wasn't at 0, 0. It was at like 4.50. And then it seems to repeat here as well, like 14.5. 0 is a 0 somewhere. So I'm going to say my C term is roughly 4.5. Okay, and the B term, let's finish this problem up here. Running out of space. So my period is 10 equals 2 pi over b. You can cross multiply. So 10b equals 2 pi. divide by 10 on both sides, and you get b equals pi over 5. Now we just plug it all in. Pi over 5. So I'm going to use the sine function, f of x. If you use the cosine function, it would be a little bit different because I took my 0, 0 to be the starting point of sine, where you could have done cosine where it's like 0, 1. So I use sine. So I've got my a term, I've got sine, my b term, pi over 5, and then x minus 4.5. And I know it's minus because it shifted to the positive, so it's going to be minus, and then plus 20 because my midline is up 20. Again, this is all just estimated based on the data. Okay, this next part is straight calculator. Grab your calculator. Doesn't matter which one you use. Grab your graphing calculator, type in all the data, all the x values, all the y values, get a residual model, or regressive model, and I'm going to show you what you should end up with. You should end up with, and again, straight off the calculator, y equals, if you're using sine, 25.679 times sine 0.636x, and I rounded to the third decimal, minus 2.903 plus 19.898. So look at my guesstimate of a model, my estimate, and then look at what I have ended up from the calculator. And actually, instead of 30, I got 25, which isn't bad. These numbers in decimal, and when I multiply and distribute, that's not bad. Look at 19.89 is actually 20, so pretty good estimate.